Welcome back. We are already underway, so we're not going to be very long with our intros, but it has been a couple of weeks, hasn't it? Welcome back to SSRL, the final 2 rounds coming to you right here, right now on this channel. Let's just go through the calendar as we only have Italy and the Netherlands remaining. Tonight is the Temple of Speed, which of course the real-life F1 circus just visited. And then, obviously, we will be finishing things off with a twist of a format in the qualifying. I will need to talk to Quincy about that, so you'll probably know more about that next week. But in the driver's standings at the moment, look who has the chance to take their 5th in a row tonight. Andy Andre leading Ryan Brooks by 52 points. So, Ryan Brooks will need to outscore him by a full race, including... full race points, including a fastest lap, if he wants to be at least 2 points. But I do think Andy will be taking the championship tonight. Mr. Walter, Andrew Bavish round out your top 5 with energetic race chase. Quincy, Verstappen, and Kavachka rounding out your top 10. We'll go through the rest of the standings between qualifying and the race. But for now, Williams, Sauber, and Racing Bulls rounding out your top 3. Williams cannot take the championship tonight. That will go into next week. And then Racing Bulls, obviously, 3rd with Ferrari and McLaren in 5th. Alpine, Mercedes, Haas, Red Bull, Aston Martin rounding out your top 10. But here we go now. So we're going to go into qualifying. Only a few minutes missed. ADS currently on a flying lap here. But we also have a tiny guest here in the commentary box for tonight as well. It is... it's time to say hello to a new co-commentator just for qualifying tonight who caused a massive pile-up. Spa 1998 comes to mind instantaneously when you think his name. It is Shaggy. Hello to you.
How are we? Hello everybody that's currently in the stream. I won't be here for too much longer, but I thought I'd give Dave some company while I sit in the garage for 18 minutes.
Of course, Shaggy serving a qualifying ban due to that massive pile-up, or, well, spectacularly massive pile-up, I should say. Of course, you were deemed at fault there, and of course, given a massive penalty, but we won't reflect too much about that. But of course, Andy Andre there has just gone to the top with a 118.828. So, Shaggy, obviously you're serving your qualifying ban tonight, so you're going to having to sit from the sidelines. You had to do the same last week. But you were able to go from 15th once Moksha's penalty had been applied, and you were going to 10th. So, what are you looking for starting from the back of the field this week that you could take from last week?
Absolute carnage that I'm not involved in. To be fair, starting from, I'd say from the front 2 rows, I believe in Monza are a disadvantage because you'll get somebody from like P7, P8, like just missing their breaking point altogether. So from my opinion, starting from the back is an advantage because then you just get to sort of back off, sort of get turn 1 and 2 done, and your race sort of starts from turn 3. So it sort of, and then you just sort of settle into the race that way. Obviously it depends on how aggressive you want to be, how much off the pace you want to sort of try and be, and then sort of be, the more aggressive you get, the sort of more positions you'll get, and it will also come down to strategy as well. This race is a borderline 1-stop because I tried it in career mode and it didn't work, so it will definitely be, I think, a 2-stop race. So strategy is going to be crucial in this race.
Absolutely, and of course we saw in real life it was a bit of a one-stop affair, but obviously in the game things are accelerated and things are a little more arcadey as Ryan Brooks comes to the line.
We are already over what Max Verstappen got for pole position, and we are only, what, 5.5 minutes into the session. We are already below what Max did for pole position. So, yeah.
Absolutely, and of course that is more of a quirk on the video game handling more than anything. Things are a bit accelerated here and there.
Totally agree.
And the cars are also, I think, are more susceptible to oversteer, so you can actually turn the fronts in a bit more sharply. But of course that has been severely reduced from F1 24, of course, that handling model.
I like my setups oversteery, especially in qualifying, just so you can sort of, especially through the Lesmos in the middle sector, you can just sort of flick them in, the rear sort of comes round slightly, and you can just sort of, on the apex, just floor the throttle. Whereas on this game I've noticed, you can plant the throttle a lot earlier than F1 24, which means by the game-wise, this game has a lot more grip than F1 24. I think this game, there is definitely room for improvement for this game and future games like F1 26, for example, when the new regulations come in, which I'm very intrigued to see how the cars look and how the cars will handle for next year. So I'm kind of putting my own mind to rest as if to say, I think the cars will look good, but it will take some time to get used to them.
Shaggy, just one thing. Do you have a set of headphones by any chance? We're just catching the game audio in while you're speaking. Could you just find some headphones if that's okay?
I do have noise suppression on. Well, clearly it's not working. Hope that's solved the issue.
We'll see how that goes, but at the moment, I just kind of want to see Bavish here, because he's looked promising on and off here and there. Managed 4th place in qualifying last week. He just goes up to 5th place now. He's just gone past the start-finish line now, which, of course, is just after Parabolica, iconic final turn here on the track, and, of course, was actually home to a massive, massive banking, which you can just about see on an overhead shot as you come. I think it's, like, just outside of Parabolica or something like that. I can't quite remember, but you see part of it on the broadcast as they go under the bridge when they approach Variante Ascari as well there. Of course, that was part of some crazy racing from the 60s.
Bossman to see how he's getting on. He's on a 52.5 middle split, which seems okay for a first run. But he's just coming up to Parabolica now, and let's see where it puts him. Oh, he's a little bit wide on the apex. Does he take the shorter route to the line? He does. The line, where does he go? He goes to P8 on a 19.3. 3 thousandths behind Trugster.
Absolutely, those two very well, they've been with SSRL for quite a long time. Of course, Quincy, the founder of it, and Trugster has been here, I think, since I started commentating from season 3, so I'm very familiar with him. He actually, in case you don't know, Shaggy, was 1 to 4 for track limit violations. He actually got the most in, I believe, season 3. I can't remember what his exact total was, but he's not going to want me to brag about that. So he's really works on that.
Not something you want to be bragging about, is it?
No.
No. I got 21 in Canada, if that helps.
Yes, I do remember that.
With my post-race penalty, I worked it out. It's in total from the penalty I had from Spain, which was 30 seconds. The penalties I got from Canada, I believe it totaled up to 51 or 54 seconds.
That's a lot of penalties. I don't know. I can't remember Trugster's exactly, but it was in and around that range. As I probably have said too much already.
I believe you get disqualified after 30. I believe. I'm not 100% sure. The game seems to like giving penalties out even if you're literally on the line. So the game is sort of a little bit inconsistent with track limits, which is good in some ways, but bad, especially if you do competitive racing like we do. So there is definitely room for improvement in that respect.
Okay.
Ryan.
Ryan, we're looking at?
Let's have a look. Oh, my teammate is just coming out on an outlet.
Okay.
Tarkan's in the middle sector, going through the Lesmos as we speak. I don't know if he's on a quick lap. It looks like he's using battery. Let's see where he goes, middle sector.
Okay, so we're looking at Tarkangino, am I correct?
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said though.
Tarkangino we're looking at.
Yes, we are.
Okay,
yeah.
so
Aston Martin in 15th, yeah.
So
anybody else? His teammate Jolly is not too far behind him. Tarkan through the final corner. Where is it going to put him? He doesn't take the shortest route to Donald. Yeah, he does. He goes P13, just ahead of his teammate, but his teammate is on a 2.5 tenth improvement.
Just to let you know, Andrew just put in a time here for 3rd place, a 1:18.829, just to give you an idea of where he currently stands at the moment. 4th in the Drivers' Championship, really in contention with Mr. Walter and Ryan equally. So, of course, Ryan trying to see if he can give Andy a bit of a scare, but I don't think that's going to happen. He would need a on set of points and for Andy's race to basically be a non-finish, so I just don't see that happening, to be honest with you. I do think we're going to be seeing Andy as a 5-time champion here in SSRL, of course. Wentz has been on an absolutely impressive streak since Season 2. Only Herman the German and Danger David could really bring any sort of contention, and apart from that, he's just been untouchable, like especially Season 5. Really, Fellow Son was the runner-up in all of that, but was barely a contender in most of that. Did take 1 or 2 wins here and there, but it was mostly the Andy show throughout that season. Season 6 has had some competition from another driver, but who has sadly no longer with us in the league. One of the drivers now, who's currently not yet set a time, is Kovachka. He'll be coming to the line now from 18th place. We'll see where he comes out. Of course, teammate to Shaggy here, who has joined me in the commentary box just for this qualifying session. 5.5 minutes to go. He will have another lap as long as he gets out of the pits in time. Here we go, to the line for Kovachka. It is going to be 14th place. How do you feel about that, Shaggy?
He's definitely got more to give, judging from what in the 2 races that I've done since my return, I've completely forgot about, to SSRL. He's actually had very good pace. We had a very good battle in Spain after the Belgium 1990.
Sorry to cut over you here, but it is Bavish here who's just gone to pole position with a 1:18.5.
18.5.
Absolutely incredible time from the McLaren. Shaggy there. Is that going to be the hardest one to beat?
He's nearly 2 tenths ahead of Mr. Walter, but obviously Andre's on an outlap at the moment, so we can, in the next couple of minutes, we will see what he does. We've got 4.5 minutes left to go, so my teammate will definitely get another lap. We have a V-carb, I believe, coming to the line just ahead of Andre. That it will be Quincy, the boss man, to the line. Jumps up 1 position with a 19.0. Andre, as the Quincy couldn't have helped Andre even more. He absolutely beautiful slipstream down the straight. So we will keep an eye on Andre as he goes. But Bavish, what a lap from the McLaren. Let's just hope that the McLarens do not mess up their strategy as much as they did yesterday in real life.
Absolutely, of course. But of course, real life matters well, hopefully don't turn into virtual matters. Andy Andre, of course, looking to take the championship as of tonight, has a 52-point lead over Ryan Brooks here. And, well, like we said earlier on, I think it is only going to take Andy a retirement. There is, oh, goodness me, there is a V-carb going very wide through the second Lesmo there, as now we have DRS open for the Kick Sauber, who's probably just going to ignore that. That is 10th up.
Just over a 10th up.
It's not going to be enough for pole position here, as now he is going down to Parabolic at the short straight that separates Ascari from the final corner, and he is now got to select his breaking point. Let's go on board with the Kick Sauber as he goes through the final corner. No real moments in the steering, maybe just some adjustment on entry, but nothing that would have affected Andy too much, but it's not quite enough. That is half a tenth.
Final sector from Andre, finding a 10.5. What a final sector from Andre there.
Absolutely there. He always, I tell you something, Shaggy, Andy always finds a way to really bring it when the cards are looking down. He has now got half a temp, so he's got another flying lap within him if the time allows. I think it will, as a Ferrari going slow through the first Lesmo after an invalidation, which I think was through the second very anti there. And yeah, 2 minutes 20, I mean, that is going to be very tight for another run. You don't really have a pit stop.
With Ryan, which I will believe will be his final lap.
That is correct.
He's down in 11th. I spoke to him before I entered the commentary box, and he said he's done 2 laps of practice before this race. So it's not looking good for the championship protagonist. He's currently 2 tenths down in the first sector, so he might have to just back off, recharge the battery, and he's just also invalidated, so he'll just have to back off and recharge the battery and go again.
As Quincy now retires from the session from 8th place, and I promise you he is not going to be staying there. There are still drivers that need to improve. Bavish, Mr. Welter, Andrew, beg your pardon, and Truxer are all out on their out laps at the moment, so they will complete this and go on to a final flyer. So we are not going to know where things stand until the timer hits 0. So here we go. Vero Ducko will be one of the first across the line. This will be his final flying lap. He is approaching the line now. DRS will open any moment. Kovachka retires as Vero Ducko only able to improve to 16th there. Who is going to be next? It looks to be one of the V-Cubs. That's going to be Ryan going into the pits. He's done, Shaggy.
What? I wasn't... Maybe he didn't feel for another lap. That's shocking from Ryan. He... Being one of the championship contenders, I thought he would just back off and go again, but maybe he didn't have enough fuel. So that's Ryan, I'm going to say, out of championship contention.
It wasn't going to be very...
I'm going to say...
I was just going to say, it wasn't looking very possible, but we have drivers on their final flyers. Race Chase completes a lap. He goes up into 6th, but everybody around him still has a lap to do. Rowley comes into 9th place there. We are now approaching the business end of qualifying. Something has to give.
Half a tenth up, middle sector.
Who?
Andre, half a tenth up, purple middle sector.
No surprises there. The championship leader showing who is boss of SSRL. And next season, maybe Bavish, maybe Ryan could bring a championship challenge, but through the final corner, it will be a huge surprise if it's not Andy Andre on pole. The timer is done. It's not pole at all.
No.
Andy Andre misses out by 0.03 of a second, so Bavish has it for now.
Bavish is a tenth up in the first sector.
Who's that?
Bavish.
Bavish up by a 10th in the first sector, but we need to see what everyone else is doing. Mr. Wouter is through Parabolica as we speak. What's his time like? It's only good for 4th. He doesn't improve at all. Andrew is next in the Williams. What can he do? No improve. Well, personal best improvement, but no positional improvement. That's 5th place for the Williams driver.
Does not improve, stays P7.
Same for ADS as well. He's, well, I say same for ADS, but he's remained 17th.
Bavish, he's just under a 10th up. I believe this is going to be his pole position for the Italian Grand Prix.
There's nobody else for it, really, as Shaggy rightfully points out, but no improvement. It doesn't matter. Bavish takes pole at the Temple of Speed, right next to the championship leader, Andy Andre, who could not find the final sector time to beat the McLaren. And that concludes the qualifying session. What an ending that was. And what a surprise, Shaggy. Bavish in the McLaren takes pole.
Yeah, I was not expecting Bavish. I was expecting Andre to run away with it like he normally does. But it's nice to see a mix-up in the grids. Obviously, I haven't qualified, so I probably would have been somewhere towards the back end of the top 10. Probably nowhere near the top 5, but this is going to be an interesting race in terms of strategy, who plays their cards very close to their chest, and it's going to be an exciting race. So I'm hoping everybody in the stream, and including yourself, Mr. Dave, are looking forward to this.
I absolutely am. We'll keep an eye on your progress, but Shaggy, I think this is where you'll leave us.
I am going to. Everybody in chat, I hope you have a great time with Dave. And I will see you, hopefully, after the race.
Okay, then. Thank you very much. We'll now go through your final qualifying results. It's Bavish, Andy, Danger David, Mr. Walter, Andrew, rounding out your top 5. Then from 6th to 10th is Race Chase, Truxton, Quincy, Rowley, Jolly Boy John. Then from 11th to 15th is Moksha, Ryan, Energetic, Ekovachka, and Kataka Gino. Then 16th and 17th, Baraduko and ADS, with Shaggy being your only non-qualifier as he's serving a qualifying ban. But information from Andy in the chat there, pole in the bag and ran out of fuel just before the line. And that is why Andy did not improve at all. So just to kind of go back to your driver's standings, because we did not fully finish that off. From 11th to 15th is Sveta, Shaggy, who'll be hoping to go up a few positions himself. We'll keep an eye on him. 13th is Rush the Series with Boxer and Red Dog rounding out your top 15. And then from 16th to 20th is Quan, Gino, Veroduco, Crankjorg, and Vincenzo. We'll be right back because we still have racing action to come in Monza. Let's go. Well, let's take our usual scheduled break for a few minutes and then we'll be right back with you. Don't go anywhere. 50% race to come here in Monza. We are now back underway for our formation lap. It is now going to be one last time to have a look at qualifying results. We have Barish in pole position here, followed by Andy Andre in second place. Then third is Danger David, who's rounding up your top three. Then it is Mr. Wouter in fourth position, followed by Andrew in fifth place there in the Williams. Race Chase in sixth, followed by Trugster in seventh. Then Quincy in 8th, followed by Rolly in 9th. 10th is Jolly Boy John. Then Moksha is 11th, followed by Ryan Brooks in 12th. Then Energetic rounds out your top 13 with Beric Kovachka and Tarkandino, respectively rounding out 14th and 15th, of course. And then 16th, 17th, and 18th is followed on from Veroduco, ADS, and of course, who we just had in the commentary box serving his qualifying ban, Shaggy, going long on those hard tyres. A good look all, says Rush the Series in the chat. And at the moment now, he is going to be observing Bavish taking the 17 drivers behind him all the way to the line. Rush the Series, I do hope you are having a good Monday. It is good to see you in chat. Hope you are enjoying the broadcast so far. And we still have more to come. It would be my pole easy, said Rush the Series. Fighting words. From, of course, the Season 3 contender, who had a bit of a... Well, no, I'm not going to go there. Low-hanging fruit, that is. But Bavish, at the moment, lining up into his grid position. You see the starting lights with the F1 logo just up to the, well, near the top of your screen, I suppose. As Andy Andre has disqualified himself by just not lining up properly. You can see the other drivers behind just making their way into their relevant grid slots. That only happens because you don't line up correctly on the grid. That's nothing to do with your race. So at the moment, it looks like Shaggy has also lined up correctly, and we'll get this race underway in a few moments' time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's going Monza, and Babish there cuts off Andy right away. I don't think he needed to because Andy is about to be mugged, and he is Mr. Wouter there. Looks like he got alongside, but he wasn't close enough. Babish now goes to the outside to cut off, but there's Andy down the inside. Contact between the two as Danger David goes for a ride in Variante 1. There is a traffic jam through the chicane, and Danger David goes down to 5th place as Andrew goes up into 4th there. Shaggy got a good start as well, back from 18th to 16th. As Rowley also making up a couple of positions. He's gone from 9th to 7th in a matter of moments. But Quincy also up to 6th is holding on for now, but he's heavily defending the inside. The Haas of Chugster onto the grass. I think he just got a bit desperate on the right foot there as Ryan Brooks around the outside of Kovachka. Couldn't quite make it work, and Kovachka holds on to 11th for now, but Ryan will be right there with him. Shaggy also up to 14th there, so he's had a very good start. 4 positions in 1 lap. Can he keep that rate up? Energetic also trying to make a move here on the Aston Martin of Tarkangino into Ascari. Gets it done there, and that was important for Energetic as there's a V-Carb going very wide there. That is Ryan Brooks there. He's going down to 14th after having a good start there. That's now Mr. Walter and Andy Andre swap positions. What has happened to Andy Andre at the start here? At the moment, it doesn't really matter. He's still going to be good for the championship. That's right, Brooks is rather disappointingly all the way down and out of this. But look at Danger David trying to come back at just about everybody. We go into the first Variante, and that's all said and done. But he still goes side by side with Andrew. Danger David with a bit of a moment on the exit, but he's got that done. He had the inside line, and he had the momentum. It is gone. The Haas is up into 4th position, and we are now starting to find the leading pack starting to settle down. Babish has broken away from Mr. Alta, who's also broken away from Andy Andre, coincidentally. I do think, though, that is just because Andy decided to go on the hard tyres at the start there. So he's aiming for the one-stop and to go long. I would expect him to pit, I would say, around between lap 12 to lap 18. I would predict, well, the soft tyres will go a bit shorter. I predict about lap 8 to lap 10, maybe even lap 7 if you really want to be safe about that. But anyway, here we go now. They all the cars going through Ascari. Let's check on who's been the biggest winner and the biggest loser. Well, I can tell you who's not been losing. Babish, Andrew, and ADS both staying where they are. In fact, ADS probably not enjoying life right now. Race Chase down 4 positions as well. That might be related to the tyres. It is not. He is on medium tyres as Mr. Wouter takes the fastest lap there after Babish flashed up on screen momentarily. But Mr. Wouter looks like he was a few tenths up, as now Danger David does have DRS on Andy Andre. Quincy in the background as well as Andrew, and the league admin make contact. Bit of a lock-up for the Racing Bulls driver. They're going to go side by side through the first Variante again. On the exit, it is nothing to play for. Andrew is not letting him have this, and Quincy has to remain in 6th for the time being, of course. Last time out, which was the Mystery Grand Prix in Canada for Division 1. It was, let me just have a look here, for Quincy, if he did actually attend, that is. I don't know if I'm sure he attended last week. Oh, yes, he did. So he started from 11th, went up into 6th place. And that's where he is right now, and he's looked like he's got the pace to go that little bit further. He has DRS on the Williams yet again. Let's see if he can get something done into Ascari. No, he's not going to be close enough to have a go there, and that was always going to be very unlikely there. It's now Jolly Boy John and the Ferrari of Energetic going side by side. That's very wide through Ascari for the Aston Martin, and well, also loses out to Ryan Brooks in that process. As now Shaggy here is looking to get back 14th place. I don't think Shaggy is going to be climbing much higher than that as things stand right now, and in the background we're seeing a battle. ADS finally finding somebody, and he has got Tarkangino there, and he has got that all said and done as now Quincy finally finds a way through. Andrew up into 5th place there, so now it's the Mercedes. I thought it was breaking a bit late. I thought he was going to go into the side of the Williams. I think Andrew thought the same. And, well, Andrew had to... Oh, my goodness me! And there's contact between Monkshaw and Andrew. What's happened there? They're both in the barrier. Rule number 1 of motorsport. Don't make contact with your teammate. And both Williams drivers are down to last. 17th and 18th. That is not good for the British constructor. And now, well, in all of that now, look at who has been released. Quincy there. is trying his best as there's overtaking all over the track. We have Energetic going up into 10th on Ryan Brooks, but Ryan Brooks will have the DRS and he goes right back through. And then there's some more moves in the front there. Truckster was trying to have a go on the Mercedes of Rowley. Well, not going to be very easy if you go from that far back, as now Jolly Boy John and Ryan Brooks both have a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. Let's see if we can get some focus on this leading battle, because Bavish has been caught by Mr. Wouter, Andy, and of course Danger David as well. The double stop pit stop is going to kill the second pitter, absolutely. And I'm just wondering there, as Underling is also saying hi in chat. Hello, Underling, as now we see a move from Truckster there. He is up into 6th place there, and we see that finish off. As now in the background as well, Ryan Brooks, who just got his penalty, is also trying to make a move. And then a Jolly Boy John on ADS in the background as well. And just an update on the Williams drivers for you. Moksha coming into the pit lane. Andrew stays out for the time being. He will carry on for another lap so that he doesn't double stack with his teammate. So at least that he plays kind to his teammate, who you do kind of have to feel that was Andrew's fault there. I don't quite know what happened through the first variant. He just looked like he went right and just couldn't really find a way to recover, as we see Ryan Brooks through the second Lesmo get that all sorts of wrong, and that's not really going to help him all that much. So let's just see what happens. But anyway, DRS opening for Rowley, who's trying to catch up to Truckster in front. As, but goodness me, there is all sorts of battling happening up and down. I have to sort of look at one thing and then go away to something else. ADS up into 12th as Jolly Boy John gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations there. So let's see as we continue. Now, at the moment, we don't really need to be worrying about points, because whatever happens now, as long as Andy stays here, he's champion of the world. He just really needs to stay above, let's have a look, 13th. Well, it needs to be 13th or higher to confirm the championship tonight. And then that'll be it. Going into the Zandvoort next week, as now there's more battling yet again, as that is Shaggy going past Vero Ducko there. So I don't quite know what happened to Shaggy, but he just doesn't seem to be moving all that higher up. He did say in the commentary box that if he did take on qualifying, this is whereabouts he would be. So it just looks like he just doesn't quite have the pace to go all the way to the front. And DeAndre there, as we get a bit of an onboard jump scare from the kick Sauber. Short-lived though, but he is now within DRS range of Mr. Wouter, and has been for a few laps, but Mr. Wouter has had that DRS in front to actually try and defend from the attacking Sauber behind, as Kavachka there with a 3-second penalty. That's from 9th place. So he's in contention with Ryan Brooks, but then Ryan Brooks has a 4.7-second gap to ADS behind. So Ryan Brooks currently racing on his own in all reality. But there's your top 4 on the screen, and there's 5th place having a battle in the background. Those two not really helping each other to try and catch up to this. These 4 are getting away into their own battle, so that means we would have to start looking at hit stop strategies. So just to remind you of the tyres, only Andy Andre on the hard tyres in this top 4 battle, but we are about to see Mr. Wouter surely take the lead away from Bavish, and he does, going in to the first chicane, and Truckster also gets past Quincy in the background for 5th place. So let's see what those two can do. Those two also on the hard tyres, so their pace might become a bit more evident as the stint goes on. But we should be seeing medium tyre pit stops at any moment now. Of course, the exception to the rule was Moksha there, who of course had to repair damage. As Jolly Boy John, as he had a moment. Yeah, oh my goodness me! Andrew has got in to the Aston Martin of Jolly Boy John. We didn't see what happened there, but more damage to the Williams there, as Jolly Boy John was struggling to get back underway. I wonder if the damage he just caught just kind of bamboozled him, and he just didn't know what to do. And look at this, that is a heavily damaged front wing. He's not even able to stop the car. He gets a 3-second penalty for cutting the second variante, as Quincy gets past for 5th place Truckster and messes up Ascari, so Truckster's right back with him. But let's have a look at this battle for 2nd place as well. We'll come back to the Williams in a few moments, because now it is about to be a DRS battle for the lead of the race. The kick Sauber gets the exit off Parabolica, but does he have the momentum to carry him through? Messed up qualifying by running out of fuel. He's hoping that's not the same for the race. At the moment, Bavish able to defend from the kick Sauber, who now goes to the inside, as does the McLaren. He wants to try and go for the lead, but wasn't close enough there through the chicane, as now Race Chase makes a move on Rolly for what is 7th place here, and all of a sudden we have our first pit stop. It is Kovačka in for hard tyres, a lap 8, so it was lap 8 his mediums could do. He's held in the pit lane for desync reasons through his internet, so that will not be of any effect at all. But Andrew here should be into the pits after that collision with the Aston Martin of Jolly Boy John, and he is, so he will now serve his pit stop, and I imagine he will rejoin behind his teammate. As, yeah, Moksha is just going through Parabolica now on the track map, so that should be all said and done. So we see Quincy there just have a bit of a moment out on the exit of the second Lesbo, as Energetic gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations there. But I just want to say, Truckster and Quincy have really done well to work together, because they've brought the gap down from about 3.5 seconds to 2.4 seconds. So they are working together very well. So these two could be a nuisance for these four going into, well, coming to the end of their first stint. Quincy and Truckster both sharing hard compounded tyres, just like Andy in front. So clearly, there was some sort of play there. I wonder if there's a hard tyres club on. I wonder if they're communicating with one another. This won't be helping, though, for Babish, but he gets away from that. So he's got impressive straight line speed over the kickstop as he locks up the front left going into turn 1. Pit stop for Danger David as well, as Quincy also makes a move, but they're going to go side by side. I thought these two were working together, but evidently not. Already a whole second lost because of going side by side through the first chicane. It's Quincy who wins out in the end, but Truckster and Quincy not the best of friends when it comes to DRS working together, when they come to working together with DRS, evidently. So we'll see if they can sort that out before the end of the first stint, or at least before the end of the race. You don't want to be doing that too many times, and they were on pace to catch up as well. That's the thing. That's Truckster there, flipping heck, through this first Lesbo as a really big tank slapper, but able to keep that under control. So because of the pit stop from Danger David, it means that these three may have to make a move on this lap, as, oh goodness me, Andy very wide through Ascari, a very rare mistake from the current world champion, who's at the moment going to be crowned world champion at the end of this race. Mr. Walter, even if he does win, does not have enough points to overturn that gap, so it's more than likely looking that he will be champion at the end of tonight. And then a move from Shaggy there up into 10th place, but of course pit stop's not considered, as now Babish is into the pit lane. He responds to Danger David, so let's go to the Scottish Haas driver here, as Energetic also into the pits. David should be able to beat the Ferrari rather. Oh no! And as soon as I say that, he is in the gravel at Parabolica, and his chances of an undercut are vanished. He drifts into Parabolica, and I think that is going to be Babish comfortably out of the pits. It is, and I think even, it would have been very close if Danger David had made that corner. But at the moment, we are going to be left with the unknown, and Vero Ducco took advantage of that, and he gets, well, Danger David actually quickly gets past Vero Ducco after he had a mistake on the exit, and Kovačka benefits from that as well. What a moment, and please don't kill me for the commentator's curse there, as now we have Quincy with the DRS open, and I actually learned tonight that his nephew actually watches these streams, so a big warm welcome to his nephew. I really do hope that you're enjoying Quincy going up the order at the moment, currently 4th place, still needing to serve his pit stop, so this won't be his final position. But if he can share DRS with Truckster, well, then these two are on for a really good result tonight, and especially if a safety car happens. Mr. Walter into the pits now. Andy Andre, no surprise there, going long. So now we need to keep an eye on Babish. Can he get past Mr. Walter? As now Quincy is still working on bringing down that gap to Truckster. Well, working with DRS with Truckster, beg your pardon. And, well, let's keep an eye on Babish. Let's see, the Ferrari of Mr. Walter is still in the pits. He's just on the exit now. Let's go to the Ferrari, and I think that is the McLaren comfortably flew. It indeed is, and that is Babish now in a theoretical podium position as of right now, but he will want more from that. But he'll also now have to be wary. So this is a part of the race where it's going to get very interesting, because you've got to think about this as well. Andy Andre will be coming off those hard tyres, as will Quincy, as will Truckster, and they will have the pace advantage over those hard runners. So don't forget that either. I think Veradukov serving a pit stop as well, so he's currently down 17th. So let's have a look at who's served their pit stops. So everybody from Bavish all the way down to Jolly Boy John has served their pit stops. We're just waiting on the top 5 to do the same, and I think ADS might be in a good position here to gain a few positions by staying out long, but we'll see how that all works out for the McLaren driver as now. Well, Bavish very quickly makes a swap. Mr. Walter unable to follow through though, so Bavish gets traffic out the way as soon as possible, and he's got about, I would say about 17, 18 seconds on Andy Andre as now Truckster into the pits, but Bavish should easily find his way past as there you go. Mr. Walter easily through round the outside out of all the places there, so that shows that ADS might want to come in ASAP, and I'm surprised he's done as 10 laps it said on those medium tires. So 10 laps, but it's been 12 laps. Oh no, 11 laps now, so there we go, it's caught up. But there you go, so he's all set and done for the time being. We'll keep an eye on where he comes out. He's also got a damaged front wing as well. So all sorts of interesting action happening here, as now we're going to see Race Chase come out behind Ryan Brooks. Of course, Race Chase in for a good haul of results. Started in 6th place, currently down in 10th, but now that he's made his pit stop and has got the tyre advantage over everybody else, he could be on for a good result. Let's see what happens though. Looking like he had good pace all over the weekend. Of course, Ryan Brooks a bit of an outlier here. Of course, he's the guy who's always happy with a podium, but unfortunately, has not quite happened for him in this regard. Of course, as Shaggy said, he spoke to him earlier, and only 2 laps of practice came in from the Racing Bulls driver, so unfortunately for him, not gonna be an impressive result as things stand, and a 6-second penalty to boot post-race for track limit violations. Ryan Brooks now passes the Mercedes of Rowley for 8th place. Mr. Walton now is Bavish as well are just waiting for pit stops from the 2 in front. Andy Andre will be the one that they are most concerned about, and I wonder if Andy Andre is just leaving this one a bit too late, because he will have, if he was to pit this lap, he'll have 14 laps to go to catch everybody up. So just to be better safe than sorry, want to maybe try just keeping up the pace a little bit, try and increase that gap to Quincy behind him, but also try and cover off the faster tires right now on Bavish and Mr. Walter. I would assume though that they are going to be okay, as now Shaggy makes his way past Tark and Gino there for 12th position, and as of right now he is up into 12th, so not a bad pace from the Alpine driver there. Of course, started in last due to a qualifying ban, which of course he got for having the most spectacular pileup from Spain, round 7. And of course, that feels like an age ago, because technically it was. That was a whole month ago, and it just feels like there is some new life here in SSRL. Truckster now we're going to cut to the battle. Closest battle here on track is for 10th position, as Ryan Brooks is trying to make his way through. Kovachka as well with a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. Brings his total up to 6 seconds there. So, where he says, oh my goodness me, as Race Chase has a moment there with his internet, and Truckster having to take avoiding action and gets through the American driver. I don't know if his country has anything to do with what was going on there, but anyway, we'll see what happens. But anyway, let's see. DRS Open for the Racing Bulls of Ryan Brooks. He goes through into 8th place there. And well, DRS Open for Truckster, but not able to do anything with it, as Shaggy takes the fastest lap there, a 1:21.777 for the Alpine driver. Don't expect that to be, don't expect that to hold once Andy and Quincy make their pit stops, which of course hasn't happened for either one of them at the moment. I just wonder if Quincy is just observing what Andy is doing in the lead and will just kind of follow on from him. Because as Quincy, as we're all familiar with, Andy to be a 5-time champion by the end of this race, as things stand right now. An impressive Michael Schumacher era of dominance from the Romanian driver. And, I think we'll be welcoming Andy Andre back to the winner's circle once we have completed this evening's proceedings. 13 laps to go as of right now, 13 laps for these guys. Pit stop still yet needing to come from the top 2. Rolly at the moment now trying to go down the inside of Parabolica on Ryan Brooks, trying to get some sort of DRS advantage, but of course the DRS detection point is at this white line now. The DRS activation point is at the start-finish line. It's going to be a three-wide affair with Trugster in the middle. The DRS opens for the Racing Bulls. Of course, the Mercedes not timing that very well. Race Chase has a change of contact, and there's debris everywhere. Race Chase misjudging the braking point of turn 1. Trugster will be furious in the cockpit, and Rolly, well, continues on as Ryan Brooks says, well, I've got a bit of free real estate, as Rolly gets a 10-second penalty for corner cutting. He will be absolutely furious with Race Chase there, who caused that turn 1 contact, misjudging the braking point, and I think there'll be a bit of a red face at the McLaren garage there. That's not the only thing we've seen go wrong at turn 1. We saw the Williams cars make contact earlier on, and as Herman has pointed out in the chat, apart from what we just saw, both Quincy and Andy on the one-stop as of right now. And I think everybody else is as well, as Quincy and Andy continue to go on these tyres, as now Mr. Wouter is going down the inside into turn 1 and gets the move done there. And of course, no such drama from the fellow McLaren of Bavish, as he just allows Mr. Wouter through. So I imagine these two will swap DRS, going to try and build the gap for when Andy makes his pit stop. At the moment, these two are about 14 seconds away from the leader of this race. And of course, Herman coming in with his expertise there. Thank you very much for coming into the chat there, as Race Chase indeed making another pit stop, as he now sets the pit limiter and goes into the pit box to change his front wing. What tyres will he be on? It's going to be a set of new medium tyres for the McLaren driver and a new front wing. He will continue on in 18th place, so no points possible for the McLaren driver. Of course, he has a bit of a hold in the pit lane only because of internet issues, but there you go. So Andrew also makes a move on ADS, but now needs a 3-second gap to make this comfortable. ADS was looking at the comeback there, goes very wide through the first variante, and Andrew holds on to 14th place there. Bavish is now approaching the first DRS zone, as there we go, Quincy into the pit lane, and he will be executing his one stop. Let's see if Bavish can make a move on the Ferrari driver. We go on board with the McLaren, and he's got that move done up into temporary second place as he locks up the front right there, but gets the car stopped. And as expected, Quincy onto medium tyres. Where does he come out? He comes out behind Kovachka and Ryan Brooks. So let's see, and also it's going to be Rolly for company as well. He's got Trugster not too far behind, who, of course, remember, Trugster has got damage as of right now, and there we go. Quincy will have the pace advantage, but he won't have the tyres at the start. Needs to bring them in rather easily, as now, Quincy's theoretical teammate, Ryan Brooks, now is going to be trying to recover as much time as possible. Of course, a 6-second penalty going post-race for track limit violations. That confirms that. And, Quincy now finally underway and got Trugster for company. But, of course, Trugster on 5-lap older tyres. Quincy should comfortably get away 10th by 10th, although the pace deficit shouldn't be too bad for Trugster at this point in time. He might get a couple of DRS zones out of the RB in front. In fact, maybe he'll just get one, because the DRS did open for the Haas driver there, going down the straight, separating the second Lesmo to Ascari. Kovachka with another 3-second penalty for track limit violations. And of course, Rolly has a 13-second penalty for cutting the corner, as now Andy is in the pit lane. Is that soft tyres? Hang on, let's have a look. No, it is medium tyres there. I saw what I thought was a red wall there on the tyres, but evidently my mind played tricks on me, as Danger David is in for a second stop here. That's a very interesting strat. I didn't think he needed to, but evidently logic dictates otherwise. The tyre wear really crumbling here as the tyres degrade throughout the Grand Prix. And DeAndre, by the way, rejoins about 11 and a half seconds behind the top two in front. So, and DeAndre with a mission, 10 laps, 11 seconds. I have seen Andy do much better from much worse circumstances. This should be a walk in the park for what will be a 5-time champion. Even if Andy Andre was to retire and Ryan Brooks to finish, he needs to win, and he also needs the fastest lap of the race to comfortably say that the championship can go into next week. Although I don't deem that very likely. Andy Andre is not one for mistakes. Quincy now up into 7th place as he overtakes down the inside just before Ascari and gets the move done. 3.6 seconds now separating him from, that is Kvachka in front, but that may not matter too much because the 9-second penalty for Kvachka is very, very large, so that would mean that he'll get the move done. As now we just see ADS there cut Ascari and get a 3-second penalty. This is there's a lot of very intense battles happening right now. As now we're going to see Andy RJ battle for 3rd place. Energetic serving a post-race penalty, remember, for track limit violations, and Andy with those fresher medium tyres gets through no problem at all. As now Moksha, thanks to Tark and Gino pitting on 11 lap old hards. Is Andy P1, Quincy P2, or P3, says Herman is a German, and it's a long way to go, and I don't know if Quincy has the pace to get that gap down. Of course, like I said, miracles do happen in SSRL, and if one was to happen, well, wouldn't it be fitting for the admin in the Temple of Speed to try and get something done tonight? Let's see what he can do. 3 seconds separate him from Kvachka, and that gap comes down corner by corner. And Quincy is just trying to get the hurry up on, of course, trying to impress his nephew as Shaggy gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations there. He's in 10th and is trying to fight with the 2 Haas drivers there of Danger David and Truckster. So in a bit of a Haas sandwich as of right now. And Shaggy really does make a mistake through Ascari there. Was very wide through the first part of the corner and then merely messed up his line onto the exit. And I just wonder, he shouldn't have to stop again. He's on 8 lap old hards. So he's on relatively similar stuff as now Kvachka gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He's coming in for what is a 2nd stop. I'm not sure about this one. I'm really surprised we get the 2 stop here as Truckster's in again. Very weird things happening here in Monza, as always. And I've just noticed here that Bavish has actually gone and got a 3-second gap on the McLaren, on the Ferrari behind him. I wonder what's happened there. I wonder if Mr. Welter had a bit of a mistake or something. We'll have to see if we can interview him after the race, if he is able to stay in the podium position. So we'll certainly give that put that one in the notes, in the mental notes, that is. Beg your pardon. But now Danger David onto the back of Shaggy here, who's been making a few mistakes. And now Danger David should have DRS on the Alpine, and this should be a rather easy move. Doesn't really need to make it, but of course, if he wants to gain more positions, well, they are for the taking. He gets past Shaggy without much of a problem. It looks like Shaggy's tyres are just past their best now, and he is struggling to really have any grip on any part of the track. 3.6 seconds is the gap between him and Rowley. He just needs to, well, stay where he is. I don't know if he's quite got the pace for Quincy, but we'll see what happens. Now, will Ryan Brooks play the team game and allow Quincy through? He is still catching, but he's not catching quick enough, to be honest with you. And so it's just going to be a bit nip and tuck to see if he gets there in time as Arena comes in with the lurk. Thank you very much for the lurk. I don't know why the bot is not working there. I do apologize, but I hope you are having a good day, Arena. And yeah, no, welcome on in to Formula 1 for your probably one of your first Formula 1 broadcasts. I'm not too sure, though. But I hope you're having a good day all the same. We are now looking at Andrew making his 2nd stop. And what a miserable race it has been for the Williams driver. A decent qualifying has been patched after contact with his teammate, which has also sent Moksha to the back. And he's actually fighting Tark and Gino as we speak. So into turn 1 we go. And that Aston Martin doesn't fight that too hard. In fact, slots in back behind the Williams. Knew where the battle was. And it was already all said and done. Tark and Gino doesn't bother to fight that back. Maybe trying to work together to gain some positions in front. Although Trugster there is a long way away. 8.4 seconds in 6 laps is not very durable. 8 seconds from the lead is Andy Andre, but 6 seconds from 2nd place is the Kick Sauber. So at the moment, he's just trying to get things done, but it doesn't look like those medium tyres are even close to being quick enough, you know. Of course, the Kicksauber is a very draggy car, so it doesn't have the best in terms of straight line performance. So I'm just wondering if that is playing a part here into why Andy cannot quite pull out a miracle from his sleeve. Of course, we are just so used to seeing Andy dominate the league, and yet this is just rather a surprise here. He's even struggled in qualifying, and then even struggled throughout this race. But then again, as soon as I say that, he finds 6/10 through the first 2 Lesmos, as now Quincy gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. Oh wow, Andy isn't catching quick enough. Quincy too. Yeah, no, Quincy's just not. The pace just isn't there on those medium tyres in this second stint, and I just wonder if they are if they're just not the tyre to be on then. Because now look at Mr. Wouter, he's putting on a bit of a show. And then as soon as I say that about Andy, he's now got the gap to underneath 5 seconds. So Andy is still in this race, but Mr. Wouter may have to get a bit of a hurry up on. 1.8 seconds now separates him as they go to the line for lap 23 out of 27. Danger David has caught up to the back of Rowley here for what is 7th place there, as Shaggy there is having a moment down the straight. That's an internet issue for the Alpine driver. Who'll happen to the Hards fall off the cliff? I don't know. I don't know. This is certainly interesting. Of course, you probably know more about that, Mr. Sirius. Now, DRS opening for the Haas driver through to 7th place. That wasn't really going to be an issue, considering Rowley does have to serve a post-race penalty, and Tarcangino adds on to his time as Shaggy now into the pits from 9th place. He's going to make a second stop on those hard tyres. So about 12 laps is as far as the hard tyres can go. The hard did 70 laps for me yesterday, so I'm surprised they didn't catch up. As am I. As am I, Herman. I'm really surprised that hasn't worked out. But Andy RJ there still has time. He's got 4.2 seconds, and he seems to do very well when there are corners involved. So the Lesmos are particularly his best friend. But, oh, he gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations at Ascari. And, well, no Andy win tonight, so long as Mr. Alter and Babish keep it within track limits. This is your race for the evening. And Danger David has also gone and added on to his penalty total. Doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, as now he's just looking to try and catch Quincy up. ADS as well. What a good race this has been in the second half. He has had to start from the back from 17th, now up to 17th, now up to 10th place, beg your pardon. And he's currently on a blast there, as Chuckster now gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. Old habits do seem to circle back around for the Haas driver. 4 laps to go, and I think Andy's going to call off the charge and not really bother. It is about how much track limit penalties you currently have, and Moksha looks like he will gain a couple of positions as so long as he doesn't do any critical mistakes. IDS as well will benefit from, I think, no, it won't be 2 drivers, because Rowley is not close enough for ADS to benefit. I just wonder if Rowley could benefit from dropping off a little bit and allowing his teammate to get 8th place, although he's not under any requirement to do so by any means of the stretch. So we'll see what happens here, but we're going into the second variante now, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, still no move from ADS as of right now. Mr. Walter still catching up, and with 3 laps to go, he'll be 1.2 seconds away as Andrew and Moksha swap position there in the background. I wonder what's happened. Let's have a quick look, as we can look away for a brief few moments. And yeah, it was just seemingly approaching a corner, and then they just had the benefit of the slipstream, although Andrew does have fresher tyres to go to the end there. Wouter for the win, says Rush the Syrian. You know what? That's looking all the more likely, but caution in Sector 3 for a Mercedes. It is ADS, who we were just talking about was having a good race. But no safety car required. He continues on. And in actual fact, I think we are beyond the moment where we can have a safety car. But look at Mr. Welter now. He is caught right up to Bavish, and he is only 1 DRS zone away from making only strong in stint 2. And there we go. There's a bit of confirmation. So the hard only strongest in stint 2. Shaggy there with the fastest lap of the race at the moment. So takes the bonus point away. But at the moment, Andy Andre looking safe to be Season 6 World Champion, his 5th in a row. And, well, there was a bit more competition this time around, but in the end, the second half of the season, he just proved to be unstoppable. And now Babish, with new pedals, is going to try and hang on to take this win here in Monza. Through Parabolica, the Ferrari and the McLaren go. 2 laps to go. And, well, about 4 opportunities to make a move. Mr. Wouter is not close enough at the line here. And, well, he's just going to have to settle in as Babish there with a big mistake. But Mr. Wouter misses the apex altogether. But it looks like he had the better momentum through the initial part of the corner. But sadly just lost it in the midway through the chicane. Andy too far back to really influence this and has a penalty to boot as we have a battle between Quincy and Danger David developing as well. There's all sorts of exciting action as now Danger David has a mistake through the first variante. These medium tyres have not worked out at all. And well, Ryan Brooks now with a 9-second penalty. Both these drivers will benefit, but in what order, we ask? We'll see what happens as now Mr. Welter is within DRS again, but he's not going to be close enough to shake Babish up for a go. He'll be 1 lap at the line, 2 opportunities, but more importantly, 3.6 miles to try and make something work when we get to the line next time around. It looks like Babish has the straight line advantage. Shaggy makes a move on ADS, but there is a 3-second difference, so needs to find 3 seconds in a lap if possible. I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest with you, for Shaggy. But anyway, final lap, 6.5 tenths, 1 tenth closer than he was last lap. Let's go on board with the Ferrari driver. The McLaren is recharging. He's going to the inside for turn 1. He won't, the rest of Welter not close enough to have a go this time around. Big look up from Babish again. Understeer McGee from the Ferrari and loses 3 tenths on the exit. Does he have the traction over Babish? It looks like he does for that initial part of the corner. But Babish now is under serious pressure as Ryan Brooks has a moment there. Oh, for some reason or another. But anyway, we'll look at that in another moment's time. Ryan Brooks dropping back maybe to try and help his teammate. I'm not too sure. But at the moment, this is the battle that's got our attention. And I don't think Babish is going to be caught. I think he has done enough. It is 9 tenths of a second at the next DRS zone. But what's this? A mistake? And Mr. Router has cost himself the win. He overtakes, but there's no point. And, well, Mr. Welter throws the win away. A bit of excitement, maybe. Has Babish run out of fuel? He's dropping back. Babish is out of fuel. He's lost the win. This can't be happening for McLaren. And the Ferrari might not be fumbling it. I think Rush is back to full racing speed. Rush to Siri. No, sorry, Mr. Router will win, but it's going to be Babish who wins his first Grand Prix here in Monza. Andy Andre will take 3rd place, but what a crazy final lap. And there might still be more to come. No, Danger David is too far away as Energetic comes home in 4th place. 5th for David. Ryan Brooks 6th. And, well, more importantly, Quincy in 6th place. And Ryan Brooks obviously has that taken away because of his penalties as Shaggy gets another 3-second penalty. But more importantly, Rush will win. No. Okay, I believe that you believe that. But anyway, Kovacic to the line now, 9th. Truckster in 10th. Now make that 9th because... oh, Shaggy there to the... Interesting. Trying to decide if he wants to visit his alien overlords. And of course, ADS then takes that away. Lots of penalties to consider. As then Andrew takes away all of it. Okay. Tarkangino now to the line, trying to hold off Moksha. Does so, but very little matter because Moksha had less penalties than Tarkangino. Race Chase to the line now, 1 second away as Shaggy leaves the session. That could be very awkward. Jolly Boy John now to the line. He is up to 16th. Well, that's probably going to be 17th as now Veradoko will come home 18th. Never mind, though. Dude, you should have said that instead of Router. Oh, goodness me. Oh, no. Oh, no. Sorry, Walter. Sorry, Walter. I meant you. But apparently, Rush was on my mind there. Rush will win. I said that instead of Walter. Oh, goodness me. But anyway, it is the McLaren of Babish on the top step, who will take the win officially after the penalties are served. The Ferrari fumbling it, but I just wonder if Rustasiri... David, stop it. As Babish, I think, ran out of fuel on the final lap there. And I don't know how he kept that all together, to be honest with you. I was a bit surprised he did. I just wonder if fuel was just a bit tight for the McLaren driver. But anyway, oh, I just missed that. Sorry about that. Of course, I think somebody will capture that in a screenshot. But anyway, your unofficial race results. Babish taking the win here in Monza. Mr. Walter in second. Andy Andre, who, of course, to not take anything away, is your world champion in Season 6 Division 1. Andy Andre takes his 5th title in a row. 4th and 5th is Energetic and David, with Quincy, Ryan, Rowley, Truckster, and ADS rounding out your top 10. Then Andrew, Kovachka, Moksha, Tarkagino, and Race Chase rounding out your top 15. And then Veroduco, Jolly Boy John, and Shaggy round out your 18 drivers. So anyway, that is all they wrote. Andy Andre comes home with the 5th title in a row. And what a performance that is from the Romanian driver. We will now look at getting some post-race interviews in a few moments' time. But congratulations to Andy Andre, champion of Season 6. And of course, congratulations to Babish as well on his, I believe, first win here in SSRL. But other than that, we are soon going to be underway for podium interviews. We are just waiting on Babish and Andy Andre to join the commentary box. Make that just Babish right now. Don't want to start getting names mixed up yet again. We are soon going to probably find out if Babish is going to be joining us or not. I would like to, because I think that's his first win here in SSRL. There we go. Babish has been tagged for the commentary box. Apparently there was some AI mode. Screen went black, and that's what happened. So it wasn't actually because of low fuel. It was actually because his screen went blank and he had to pause. So that's what happened there. Anyway, we will see how that all turns out when the stewards take their review of that, if that gets reported, that is. But let's go, and more importantly, get our podium interviews underway, and let's give a massive congratulations to the McLaren of Babish. Congratulations, you take your first win here in SSRL. Finally came together for you. A pole and the win. How are you feeling about that? Helps if you unmute
Thank you
yourself.
so much. It's an amazing feeling, trust me. I've been wanting to put that car on the first place, and since the start of the season, it's been really tough with ups and downs, but it feels good. It's a league I've never seen before. You know how the people are, the pace. It's an amazing league, and to get a podium, to get a win in this kind of league, it feels really amazing, trust me. So, but congrats to Wata as well. Really sorry for the AI. For some reason my screen just went black, so I couldn't see nothing. First thing was press pause, so I just went on AI, and then as soon as possible I just went back to control, and I was quite lucky. I got punctured in last corner. I was still lucky to bring it home.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't quite catch that on the broadcast, so thank you for filling us in on that. And of course, the main strategy here that was trying to be executed was the one stop. Was there any ever consideration for the two stop at any point?
No, for me it was a one stop today. I wanted to pit lap 10 because I know how the hot tire is going to get at the end of the race, because you do need those 2 laps at the end to push a little bit. The tires do get very high, so it was the one stop. Ideally in lap 10, not lap 9, but I was saving some tires when I saw Walter made a mistake behind me last corner, so I thought, okay, I've got a 2-second gap, so I tried to save some tires, just for it to last me. If not, might not have lost, to be fair, because I did end up with a puncture end of the race. So don't really know.
And of course, with the promising pace you have shown, it has been a bit on and off for you at certain points of the season. So going into next season, of course, we have our finale in Zandvoort next week. What are you going to be looking to take into season 7?
Bit more experience from this season, really. I've been changing wheels, driving style, things like that throughout the season. So, had a few things to cope with. So now I'm settling a bit. So the experience, I'll be taking forward for next season and just try to bring a bit more consistency. I think a little bit more would be quite nice to keep the gap, you know, from drivers behind in those kind of situations when you can win a race.
All right. Well, Bavish, thank you so much for taking my questions this evening. Congratulations on an SSRL first win for you, and enjoy this feeling. You have beaten some very, very fast drivers, especially Andy Andre, who, of course, we're going to congratulate in a few moments' time. But Bavish, have a very good evening.
Thank you so much. Congrats, guys, and thank you, Dave, for the stream.
You're very welcome. Mr. Walter, a 3-second penalty costs you the win. You might have had the run, but of course the AI just took too much of the track. But otherwise, congratulations on second place for the time being. Mr. Walter, how was that for you?
Yeah, I was very happy. I think I had, together with Bavish, the best pace of the field. Maybe a little bit quicker, but it could also be due to the 1 lap tire advantage. I was a bit disappointed with myself that I made the mistake into Parabolica. Actually funny, because I already saw that there is a bug there. There appears to be some dirt on the outside of the track. But I made a mistake, and that happened, and then the 3 seconds was also my bad. But on the other hand, I also didn't want to win it like this. Like, if I should have won by Bavic's black screen, I don't know. Wouldn't be the first Monza controversy this weekend, though.
No, it would not be. Do you feel like that was going to be a worthwhile report to the stewards, or are you just going to let bygones be bygones on that one?
No, not a single hair on my head is thinking about that. No. Or do you mean the penalties, like the track limits?
No, I wasn't talking about the track limits now. No, I was more talking about the actual incident itself, but you don't feel that's reportable?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, no problem at all. That's squared away. But in terms of the strategy, you of course followed on from the 1-stop, and I take it just like Bavish, it was never a case of the 2-stop for you.
No, I did do a few practice laps, but I knew that you need to make it at least till preferably lap 10 or 11, but 9 would also be doable. And then just made it work. I saved my mediums in the first stint, and the second stint I could push all out, and that's what I did after I made the mistake. Yeah, it wasn't enough in the end, but still very happy with the pace.
And now, we move on to Zandvoort next week. I think that's going to be a home Grand Prix for you. What are you expecting from that race?
Well, it's actually funny, because when I looked at the calendar, I saw the beginning and the first few tracks. Those are all tracks I am not good at, but it ends with tracks that I'm actually good at, including Canada, which was of course the Mystery Grand Prix, and Zandvoort being my home track, of course, as soon as it got released. I did many hours on the game, so I'm confident I can do well there as well, depending on how the rest will do, of course.
Absolutely. So we'll look forward to seeing you hopefully high up the field when we go into the final race next week. We may see you then. Mr. Walter, thank you so much for taking my questions this evening. Enjoy the rest of it, and we'll see you either tomorrow or next week.
Yes.
Alrighty. Well, last but most definitely not least, and in fact has the most, Andy Andre, you are world champion here in SSRL for season 6. Congratulations, Andy. Yet it's a 5-time in a row streak. How are you feeling?
Yes, thanks. Thank you very much. Uh, don't know what to say, but honestly, incredibly happy with this season. I've managed to put together a few really amazing laps. And yeah, what can I say? Just very enjoyable throughout. I loved the battles. I've had a lot of fast people in this league. I didn't know if I'd manage it at one point, but yeah, just sticking with it week after week. It I got here in the end, so incredibly happy.
And, well, you had a bit of competition in the first half of the season, but it just felt like as soon as we got past that halfway point, you were just absolutely unstoppable. Of course, like you said, you weren't sure if you weren't going to do it, but that second half, you just looked like you were untouchable. Would that be the sentiment that you would go with?
Yes, I think so too. There were two or three tracks that favored me a lot, and I put a lot of work of making everything count, and tried everything in terms of strategy and car setup, and also qualifying race pace. Really worked a lot for those races, and it showed. Overall, it gave me confidence that I would manage to do it in the end. And yeah, a few races passed, and here we are.
And, well, we have to, of course, touch upon the fact, like I did earlier, that's 5 in a row going into season 7. Could you make it 6 in a row?
Not sure what to say, but who knows? At this point, nothing is out of the question. I don't have any plans of leaving the league, so we'll just have to wait and see.
And we look forward to that. But of course, just kind of touching upon the race tonight as well. It well, it looked like you were just kind of up there, but it really did feel like you were kind of had by, like, the likes of Bavish and Mr. Welter just this time around. What do you think was what was keeping you behind there, especially because you qualified second place, if I'm remembering that correctly? It was about, though, as you said, you ran out of fuel just before just before the start finish line, and that just kind of seemed to set off your whole weekend. Is there anything you would have done differently?
Uh, well, considering the big break we've had, it was actually a pretty good race. I didn't have a lot of time on the wheel during this break. So yeah, qualifying went surprisingly well, and also the race pace was decent. I did make quite a big mistake on lap one in the final corner. I clipped the grass with the back wheel and had to go full opposite lock for a couple of seconds, and just that kept praying that it won't spin around, and luckily it didn't. And being able to recover the gap back within a few laps really gave me confidence that I would have a good race pace. But somehow I misread the strategy. I thought I would be the only one going with the one stop, with it being really on the limit in terms of tire wear and getting a puncture. I thought I would be the only one trying it out. Perhaps starting on the hards gave me this false impressions. The others were on mediums around me, so I played it much too cautious than I should have. Really just tried to keep the tires alive for in both the stints, and in the final laps, I realized that the guys in front weren't gonna stop again, and I did try to push in the final laps, but at that stage it was much too late, and I also started going off tracks and got a penalty, and it really went away with that. But really happy to get the podium and to be able to talk to you today. So a good week overall.
All right. Andy, congratulations on third in the race, but more importantly, congratulations, 5-time world champion here in Division 1 in SSRL. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll see you next week.
Yep, thank you very much. Hope to give you a better show next week. Thanks again. See you.
I don't think
Bye.
Mr. Welter will be wishing that. I think he'll want to try and compete with you, but we'll wait.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. Congratulations for today for Mr. Wouter and Bevish. Also amazing pace. Really tough fight.
All right, guys, that concludes Podium Interviews. See us next week. And with that, guys, that is all said and done from myself. Thank you all so much for coming by. Thank you for being patient with us while we had this 2-week break. We will be back with you tomorrow for Division 2. As always, that will, of course, start at the very same time of 7:30 p.m. BST. And, of course, plans for Season 7 are still currently being announced. We'll also tell you the qualifying format for next week also. But other than that, we will see what happens from there. It has been an absolute pleasure to bring you tonight, and there is still one more race to come next week. And of course, like I said earlier, we will be off to Zandvoort. All business end is done in the Drivers' Championship. The only thing that is outstanding now, with Williams losing out on massive points this evening, what can they do going into next week? That will be the only question that needs resolving. So, a constructors' battle for Zandvoort. Let's see what happens then. But for tonight, and well, with Div 2 tomorrow, we are going to be right back with you. So, from wherever you may be in the world, I wish you a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Stay safe, stay alive. We'll see you next week for some action in Zandvoort, or we will see you tomorrow for some more action here in Monza. Goodbye for now.